In computer graphics, let us today talk about parametric curves in object representation. So we'll see the introduction to mathematical splines, the Bezier curves, and the continuity conditions C0, C1, C2, G1, and G2, and also creating continuous splines like C square, interpolating splines, B splines, and Catmull-Rom splines. So mathematical splines are motivated by the Loftsman spline, long narrow strip of wood or plastic used to fit curves through specified data points, shaped by lead weights called ducts, and gives curves that are smooth and fair. So such splines have been used for designing like automobiles, ship hulls, aircraft, fuselages, and wings. The requirements are some requirements we might like to have in our mathematical splines. These are: first is predictable control, multiple values, local control availability, the versatility, and the continuity. In mathematical spline, uh, we will use piecewise parametric splines, piecewise splines, and polynomial splines. So let us look at them. In the parametric curves, in general, what these parametric curves in the plane can be expressed is x is equal to capital X t, y is equal to capital Y t. This is the representation of a parametric curve. For example, a circle with say radius r centered at certain origin 0, 0 is represented by x is equal to r cos t, y is equal to r sin t. But by contrast, an implicit representation of the circle is square plus y square is equal to r square. Please square both sides and add them. We'll get this only, because cos square theta plus sin square theta is equal to 1. So in parametric polynomial curves, a parametric polynomial curve is a parametric curve. Parametric curve means you have certain parameter which defines this curve, where each function xt and yt is described by certain polynomial which is given by this expression: x is equal to ai t to the power I, y is equal to sigma bi to t to the power I, where this varies from 0 to n, this varies from 0 to n. So polynomial curves have certain advantages. First, they are easy to compute, and then they are infinitely differentiable. Then we come to piecewise parametric polynomial curves. A piecewise parametric polynomial curve, it uses different polynomial functions for different parts of the curve, right? If this is a curve, different parts will use different polynomial functions. And the advantage of this is it will provide you flexibility. But the problem is how you are going to guarantee this smoothness where the different polynomial, they are say intersecting, or say they are joining, and this is known as the continuity problem. So we'll look at the Bezier curves. These are the general class of polynomial curves, and splines, the ways of putting these curves together. Now Bezier curves means curve, splines means getting them together. So Bezier curves, these were developed by Bezier at Renault and by de Castillo at Citroën circa 1960. So the Bezier curve is defined by the nested interpolation like this: Qu is equal to Vi Bin U, where U lies between 0 to 1. And what is this Bin? It is given by Bii is equal to U to the power I. V0i is equal to 1 minus U to the power I. Bin is nothing but 1 minus U Bin minus 1 U, and U Bi minus 1 n minus 1 U, where I varies from 1 to n. This is the representation of Bezier curve Qu. This Vi, these are the control points, and from V0 to Vn is the control polygon. Okay, we have control polygon and control points in Bezier curves. The expression we have just noticed this: Qu is equal to Vi Bin U from 0 to n. So in these Bezier curves, n equal to, for n equal to 1, if we put n equal to 1, Qu will become V0 B01 U, V1 B11. You just put 1 0 to 1. So just 0 will be this value will for 0 become this, and for I equal to 1 this will become this. So these are the Bezier curve for n equal to 1. You know that VII is what from previous expression. These are the expressions already known. So this BII is u to the power I, and B0I is equal to 1 minus u to the power I, and u varies only from 0 to 1. So this becomes V0 1 minus u V1 u. For n equal to 2 in the similar fashion, from 0 to 2 it varies. So 0 1 and then one more will be added. So this will be, see, representation will be 1 minus u square. We just replace these two here, V1 B1 2 and V2 Bu square. So ultimately we know that Bin is equal to 1 minus u Bin minus 1 u and u Bin minus 1 n minus 1 u. So we replace it then, and this will become, just place 1 and 2 here. This expression will take this shape. So ultimately we can reduce this equation to V0 1 minus u square, V1 2 1 minus u and V2 u square. Bezier curves enjoy some nice properties. So there are some basic properties of Bezier curves. First is endpoint interpolation. That means Q0 equal to V0 and Q1 will be equal to Vn. First is because V0 is the first one, Vn is the last one. So Q0 is V0 and Q1 is Vn. Okay. You know that this u varies from 0 to 1. What about the convex hull? These are the endpoint interpolation. The convex hull, the curve is contained in the convex hull of its control polygon. Symmetry is also there. That is Qu is defined by V0 to Vn. And Q1 minus u is defined by Vn to V0. These are the basic properties of your Bezier curves. So these are 2D Bezier curves. See, you have certain curve and now you have control points here. So when you have one control point, you can have two control points, and you just, depending upon these control points, this curve is going to take place or take shape. P1 is here, P2 is here. So with P1 the peak is here, P2 the peak is here. You have one more P here. So in this way the 2D Bezier curves can be represented. Bezier curves, let us see the explicit formulation of Bezier curve. Let us give the Vi a superscript Vji to indicate the level of nesting. So an explicit formulation of Qu, what we have seen earlier, will be given by the recurrence Vij will be 1 minus u Vij minus 1 and u Vi plus 1 j minus 1. These are the explicit formulation. So for n equal to 2, if we replace n equal to 2 in the previous expression, this will be V0 whole square. That will be nothing but 1 minus u V0 1 and u V1 1. And you know that this can be written as this can be written as this by previous explanation. And finally you will get this value. So in general, what happens? Qu will be equal to sigma Vi n I u to the power I 1 minus u to the power n minus I. This is the general explicit formulation of Bezier curves. Where this is nothing but, what was this? This is nothing but BINU. So BINU is the ith Bernstein polynomial of degree n. So for n equal to 3, what will happen? Please place n equal to 3. This equation will become something like this. Okay, that will be V0 3. So that will be 1 minus u V0 2 u V1 2. And again same formulation will be there. We put V0 V1 like this, and we can again expand them. So ultimately we'll get this value. So there are more properties of Bezier curves like this. That is the degree. Degree Qu is a polynomial of degree n. This is a polynomial degree n. And what about control points? How many conditions must we specify to uniquely determine the Bezier curve of degree n? This is also important. So tangent is also there in properties, because every curve will have tangent also. So Q dash 0 will be given by n v1 minus v0. Q dash 1 will be given by n vn minus vn minus 1. The kth directive will be like this. Qk0 depends only on v0 vk. Qk1 will depend only on vn vn minus k. Vn minus k. So in any intermediate points, all control points are involved in every derivative. The explanation is like this. We have already seen how it get down to this expression. So this is how you take Q dash Q. So just we'll take the derivative of this and we put 0 here, and this will be equal to n v0 minus v1 as I suggested earlier in this slide. In Q dash 1 we place 1 value or 1 here. This will become n vn minus vn minus 1. Now coming to the cubic curves. For rest of our discussion, we will restrict ourselves to the piecewise cubic curves. So in CAGD, higher order curves are often used. So it gives more freedom in design, and it can provide higher degree of continuity between pieces. And for graphics, piecewise cubic, let us to do about just about anything. Lowest degree of specifying points to interpolate and tangents, and also lowest degree for specifying curve in space. So all ideas here generalize to higher order curves. These are the matrix form of Bezier curves. Bezier curves can also be described in terms of matrix form. You know what Bezier is now? For I equal to 0 to 3, we can easily represent it by this expression. So u square, u cube, u square, u1, and here you can have these values 1, 3, minus 1, 1, and others. And this will be a single dimension matrix of, or you can say a column matrix from v0 to v3. This is nothing but the M Bezier, and these are the variables. So suppose we wanted to draw one of these Bezier curves. How would you do it? And we'll do it using the recursive subdivision. Here's the pseudocode for recursive subdivision display algorithm. We can display in this way. We can subdivide the previous one. Then we come to splines. We have known about the Bezier now. So to build up more complex curves, we can piece together different Bezier curves to make splines. This is Bezier curve, this is Bezier curve, this is Bezier curve. Now you want to combine them and you want to make one. For example, we can get positional continuity and derivative continuity. For example, Qn0 will be equal to Qn minus 1, 1, and Qn1 will be equal to Qn plus 1, 0. Means the derivative continuity would say that Qn is equal to Qn minus 1, 1, and Q dash n will also be equal to Q dash n minus 1, 1. So this is a continuity, derivative and position continuity. So the question would be, how would you build an interactive system to satisfy these conditions? The advantages of splines are, over the higher order Bezier curves, rather than having higher order Bezier curves, we can have splines. You know, these splines are numerically more stable. They are quite easier to compute, and there are fewer bumps and wiggles. Tangent G1 continuity, as we have seen, this tangent continuity. Suppose the tangents were in opposite directions, but not of same magnitude. How does the curve appear? As we have seen, these are the tangents. These are the tangents. This construction gives tangent G1 continuity. And how is this G1 continuity, which was different from C1 as we have seen? The explanation is, this is the position C0 continuity. This is the derivative C1 continuity. And this is the tangent G1 continuity. Okay. These are the subtle variations that give you C0, C1 and G1. Okay, see. This is the C0 continuity. This is continuous from here. This is the this is C0 and this is C1 continuity. This is a C1 continuity. And this is the C0, C1, and this is the G1 continuity. For curvature C square continuity, suppose we want even higher degree of continuity, not just slopes but curvatures. So what additional geometric constraints can be imposed in this? So we'll begin by developing some more mathematics first. So let us use a tool known as operator calculus, and we define the operator D by something like this: dvi is equal to or equivalent to vi plus 1. So we are going to write our explicit formulation, which we have just seen in the earlier slide. This notation, which will give us Qu is equal to sigma ni ui 1 minus u to the power ni vi, and here we represent it with dvi. Okay, di v0, and to just rearrange them, and we will apply the binomial theorem to get Qu is equal to ud plus 1 minus u whole to the power n v0. And once we take the derivative, the advantage of this form is that now we can take the derivative also. So what will be d minus 1 v0? We have seen d v0. So plugging in and expanding, we can just expand it like this. So this gives us the general expression of the derivative. This is the general expression for the derivative. You can apply anywhere. Now specializing for n equal to 3, what's the derivative of this q dash u for, say, Bezier curve which is cubic? Okay, we want we know it for 0 and 1, and now we want it for 3 also. Means the third version. So q dash u is equal to 3 ud plus 1 minus u whole square d minus 1 v0, where q dash 0 is 3d minus 1 v0 and q dash 1 is equal to 3d square d minus 1 v0. So we have to note that if u is equal to 0, q dash u becomes 3v1 minus v0, while if u equal to 1, q dash u becomes 3v3 minus v2. Okay, we are talking about this v0, v1, v2 and v3. So this is, we are specializing for n equal to 3. This is the geometric representation. So for this c to the power 1 continuity, we get a set we need a set v3 minus v2 equal to 3 w1 minus w0. Okay, these are the q1 dash, q2 dash, these are all the derivative or the tangents, you can say. And now w1, w2, w3, which are these. So we are getting up to w3. Now taking the second derivative, we can take the second derivative, which will give you q to the power nu and n minus 1 ud, 1 minus u to the power whole to the power n minus 2, and into d minus 1 whole square d0. So what does this d minus 1 whole square this do? Second order continuity, the conditions for this second order continuity will be like this. Okay, we can rearrange them like this. So putting these together, like w0 is equal to v3, we get w1 like this and w2 like this. We are just rearranging and placing the values which we have already seen. So the geometric representation is v0, v1, v2 and v3. And see, this is q dash 0, this is q dash 1, and now we have q double dash. This means the second order derivative, q dash double dash 0 and q double dash 1, second order derivative. Now coming to 3, third order continuity with C3 continuity. This will become again replacing the same sequence. See, this is v0 to v3. Now we have w0, w1, w2, w3. And now we have w0 as this, w1 is this, w2 is also v1 minus v4, v2 plus 4, 3. w3 would be given by in terms of v3, v2, v1 and v0. So summary of these continuity conditions are C0 is straightforward, but it is not generally enough. C to the power 3 is too constrained with these cubics. This is too constrained. So we can create, or creating continuous splines would be like this. We'll look at 3 ways to specify splines with c to the power 1 and c to the power 2 continuity. C square interpolating line is one of them, B splines and Cadman ROM splines. So C2 interpolating splines will be the control points specified by the user, which are called the joints. These are the joints. These are interpolated by the spline. So for each x and y, we need to specify 3 conditions for each cubic Bezier segment. So if there are m segment, we will need how many? 3m minus 1 conditions. Let us have some analysis. At each interior point or joint J, we have last curve which ends at J, next curve which begins at J. Tangents of 2 curves at J, they are equal, and curvature of 2 curves at J are equal. So the m segments gives how many interior points? M minus 1. So there are 3 conditions. And the 2 end joint endpoints, this will give 2 further constraints. That is, first curve begins at first point, last curve and at the last joint. So which gives us 3 minus 1 constraints altogether. What about the end conditions? The analysis has just shown that the specifying of m plus 1 joints for m segments leaves 2 extra degree of freedom. So these 2 extra constraints can be specified in a number of ways. First, for example, in an interactive system, the constraints specified as user inputs. Natural cubic splines needs the second derivative at endpoints defined to be 0. And maximal continuity, which requires c to the power 3 continuity between first and last pairs of curves. C-square interpolating splines, the problem is to describe an interactive system for specifying C-square interpolating splines. And the solution would be, let us have a user specify first 4 Bezier control points. This constraint next to 2 control points, and we draw these in. And user then picks one more, and we repeat steps 2 to 3. What about the global and local control? These C-square interpolating splines yield only global control. Moving any one joint or control point changes the entire curve. So global control is problematic. Why this is problematic? Because it makes splines very difficult, and it makes incremental display inefficient. So there is a fix, but everything has a cost. So there are 2 choices. You can have B splines and Cadman roll splines. In B splines, we keep C-square continuity and give up the interpolation. And in Cadman roll splines, we keep interpolation and we give up C-square continuity, and we provide only c to the power 1 only. In B splines, because the previous construction was C-square interpolating splines, we choose joints constrained by the A-frames. In new construction of these splines, we choose points on A-frames, and let this determine the rest of Bezier control points and the joints. So the B splines, you can describe more precisely as uniform B splines. This is the explanation, C-square and B splines. We have these points and joint points and control points. This is how it is, C-square making interpolating splines. You can add more of them, and you can make like this. So this is the joint point. But here B splines, you have V0, V1, V2, V3 with these Bezier points. See, so B spline construction would follow an expression like this, where these are n plus 1 control points. These are the polynomial of degree d minus 1. So bk1 and bkdu, k1 means 1 if u lies between k and k plus 1, 0 otherwise. But bkd will be given by this expression. So the points specified by the user in this construction, we call them as de Boer points. De Boer points. What are B-spline properties? So we have certain properties of these B-splines, and these properties include C-square continuity, approximating it does not interpolate de Boer points. The locality means each segment determined by 4 de Boer points, and each de Boer point contain determined 4 segments. Also, convex hulls, that is curves, lies inside this convex hulls of de Boer points. Algebraic construction of B-splines, as I said, that you can have Pu as Bf from 0 to 3. Let us take 0 to 3, and F03, let us put 0, 3, 2, 3, 1, 3 and F33. So you will get these values. You can easily find V0, V1, V1, V2, V3 in terms of these B's, okay, just by putting various these values. We have seen the matrix representation also. So once again, the construction can be expressed in the terms of matrix. V0, V1, V2, V3, these are algebraic construction of B splines, can be represented with respect to B0, B1, B0 to B3 in terms of a matrix. How to draw B splines? Drawing B spline is therefore quite simple. We can just, this is pseudocode how we are going to draw the B splines. So we convert from I to n-1 Bi to Bi3 into a Bezier control in a polygon, and then we display them. What about multiple vertices? What happens if you put more than one control points in the same place? So there are certain possibilities. We can have triple vertex, double vertex, and collinear vertices. What are the end conditions? You can also use these multiple vertices at the endpoints. For double endpoints, the curve tangent to the line between first distinct points. For triple points, the curve interpolates endpoints and start out with a line segment. While the phantom vertices, it gives interpolation without line segments at the ends. Now the second part is we can also represent it by Catmull-Rolle splines. The Catmull-Rolle splines, it keeps interpolation but give up the C-square continuity. Against the previous part we have seen. So for the derivation, we have to go back to the interpolation algorithm. So we have a condition at each joint. Last curve end at J, next curve begin at J, tangent of two curves at J are equal, and curvature of two curves at J are equal. So if we eliminate condition 4, this one, we make condition 3 dependent only on the local control points. So then we can have local control now. This is the derivation of Catmull-Rolle splines. The idea is same as B splines. So start with the joints to interpolate. Build a cubic Bezier curve between successive points like this. So in this, the endpoints of the cubic Bezier are obvious. V0 is B1 and V3 is B2. So Catmull-Rolle, if we just ask question that what should we do for the other 2 points, for this, the Catmull-Rolle uses half the magnitude of the vector between adjacent control points like this. Okay, like this, right? So many other choices work. For example, using an arbitrary constant t times this vector gives a tension control. Matrix formulation of Catmull-Rolle splines. This also admit a matrix formulation like this, as we have seen just of the previous B splines. So the properties are C1 continuity is there, interpolating, locality is there, but no convex hull property is there. So this is again B splines and various Bezier curve explanation, and we'll be taking more of this in the next session. Thank you so much.